Hey guys, it's Traxxas21 here, and this is going to be a video of upgrades that I suggest you get for your Rustler VXL. The number one upgrade I suggest is RPM rear and front shock towers. They are needed because the stock ones, at least on the rear, they're weak down by where they mount right here. So if you land improperly, or if you're running without a body, which you shouldn't, because the body does protect your inner workings of your RC car, like if you have a fan. But it is weak. Like if you were to land if you didn't have a fan, if you were to land on this improperly, it would snap this right, and it would snap it right off the mount, and you would bend shock shafts. The front one is kind of a different story. It's weak right in here, like where it comes up, like because it's like a giant U. So it's weak down here, down in here and in here. So that's a reason that I suggest this. And also the RPM body mount. It's not really needed, but it's nice to have because it comes with the posts that have the bigger top. Because stock is this. Don't mind the glue because I glued some body washers onto the pegs to save my body. But this is just a stock mount. It's good, it works, but if you want extra support, either glue the body washers that come with it onto the posts, or get the RPM body mount. And it is adjustable, the RPM one. I suggest the RPM. Do not get the Traxxas. They bend horrifically, I think that's the word. They bend like crazy. The caster blocks and the steering hubs. Down in there. Yeah, the steering blocks as well. Get the RPM caster block, and did I call it a steering block? I meant steering hub. And steering hub. The RPM ones. Don't get the Traxxas. They bend. Next is the RPM arms. These, if you're racing, I actually wouldn't get these because the stock ones give you more options to mount your shocks, but you really wouldn't want to race this thing, at least on like a professional level, unless you put a bunch of money into it and essentially scrap everything on here, including the electronics, and go from there, get new tires and all that. But if you're just bashing and just don't really care, the RPM arms do allow you to get the stock suspension settings, which are good for all-around bashing. And they're okay for on-road. I mean, like, the stock ones, that's as far as you can go out on the RPM arms. So you can't really adjust it for on-road to lay them down more. But what some people do, I do not recommend it, but they take their lower mounting screw, they take it out, and they mount their shock to right there. That is not a good idea, because this has threads on it. Those threads, first of all, you'd have to take out the hollow ball that's in the bottom of it, and then when you do put it here, the threads will eat into the plastic and make it weaker. So you would have to buy different lower, I can't think of the word of what it's called, but the lower mount thing that screws onto the shock shaft. Another upgrade that I would suggest that I do not have, I wish I did, but is an Integy or STRC bulkhead. They are very good, because I've already broken a bulkhead. You can see it in one of my videos, and changing it out isn't too hard, but it will get annoying, and if you do break a bulkhead, it most likely shears where the pins go through, and then it will bend the pins. And then you might also lose this fiberglass reinforcement here. Right before you leave the hobby shop, though, with your rustler, or leave the website or whatever, from buying your rustler, get an RPM front bumper. They're good for on-road, off-road, doesn't matter. If you're doing on-road, you can just flip it upside down, and it'll create better airflow and aerodynamics and stuff like that. It is very, very flexible, so it will take an impact and not break. I've had this one ever since right before I first ran it. I took that crappy, whatever it is there. It's not even a bumper. It's not even a skid plate. I took that little decoration piece off and put this on there for my first run. It is a very good bumper, and it does have the RPM lifetime warranty, along with the arms and the shock towers and all that. Another recommendation is the RPM gear cover. The stock Traxxas one is good, but it's not sealed all the way. Down in here, let me see if I can get some light. Yeah, down here you see why it looks a little weird, like there's tape. That's because it's open right there and I taped it shut. But it's right by your drive shaft, so if dirt gets on this, it just flings it right into your gears, and that's what caused me to strip out the spur from dirt getting in between it and stripping it all out. So I learned my lesson kind of the hard way. Sorry about that, that's my clock. Anyways, I learned my lesson the hard way, and I recommend it. It's not needed because you can tape it shut, but this tape electrical tape doesn't hold very well. It holds pretty well, but if you're doing some serious off-road, I would just get the RPM gear cover. And it still does let you have the hole for adjusting your slipper clutch and all that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Another upgrade, the RPM hybrid gearbox, I think it's called. Yeah, hybrid gearbox. I recommend this because it comes with, it's separate because, well, it comes in 4 pieces, kind of, because you have the main gearbox itself, which is 2 halves, and yeah, but the main gearbox itself, not really any different, but it does have I think it's steel or aluminum. It's steel. It has a steel motor mounting plate, which is better for mounting your motor, because stock, it's plastic and crap. It also comes with the A-arm mounts, and they include 2 sets. One that gives you the stock 0 degrees of toe-in, and then they have another pair in there that gives you, I think it's 2 degrees, it might be 2 or 3 degrees of toe-in, which is very good because the rustler kind of needs it if you don't have your trim set properly. Finally, if you're running on paddles, on sand, or on a very high traction surface, the ESC likes to get pretty darn warm. So you want to get the Valenion or any cooling fan for that matter. This one's the stock Valenion one. It does work with the battery expansion pack, but it right here it rubs up a little bit, and I don't want to have it over here because the wires don't stretch all the way, I don't think. But I recommend this if you're running on a high traction surface and you notice your ESC temps going up there. That about wraps it up for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.